Ocean World, who have returned to a life of monastic. So basically, they're going to be a bunch of monks that are going to head in the islands. Was at one time And for that, we're going to go with Exalted Priesthood and Citizen Service. I kind of want... Which I always kind of like, because that's a reference to Starship Troopers. I think the movie more so than the book, which are kind of different.
I serve the faithful. There is no greater calling.
Hull integrity failing, decompression imminent. It's been an honor, Captain.
Cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war.
Thinking machines are an affront to nature. These profane constructs must never be allowed to... Oh, wait.
Holy Tribunal. I always like to find ways to increase my mineral production because that is. I have to be very careful what that is because I buy all the stuff through minerals, straight even though I just said we need lots of minerals, we'll go ahead for the energy credits so that I can pay. I'm gonna go mine there. Not actually gonna do so. Let's look where we started. Not on the edge, which is fine. This isn't that bad. Space them. Okay, so let's go ahead. Start surveying. I personally. Oh, some of these names. First, let me get a second ship out. Ship design. I always like to.
Construction complete. Construction complete. Our ships have been improved.
So you kind of got used to having to turn myself down because it would come through really, really loudly. And I guess in the recent update where I was changing over to the OBS studio, I just instinctively turned it straight down. Ooh. I guess I turned it down too much. So, some of the things that I would like to see is, I think the names of systems, when you discover them, you should get to name them. And I think if you pay close attention, you'll notice that the planet, like the system names, except for obviously the one that you create, the system names are all the same between games. And I think the planet names, actually no, it's kind of different. I think it depends. Sometimes some of the things I've seen is that the planets are named.
Anomaly found. Construction complete.
Sometimes the planets do get named, and sometimes, I don't know, it's weird. And I think they should all be, like, if I pick Reptilian in my naming system, it should, and I also like to go Discovery, I like to get it just so that I get the anomaly research bonus. And then I go for expansion. But I think systems on this should follow your naming conventions. I think if you discover them, you should get to name them. I mean, for me, that would make a lot of sense. I mean, there's probably mods for that. I don't know. And the same thing when it comes down to government. See, I'm a person who I've played this game from the beginning. And in the very beginning, when you first started a game, it was like way different. You had to, of course, pick your FTL, which there were 3. You had the hyperlane.
System survey complete.
Warp, and then you also had gateways. And so, which I'm really hoping I'm thinking the right. See, that's the thing. Like, this game has changed so much. I'm not even sure. It's like it's now, I think, on essentially its third, which is like why it's 2.0 or whatever. It's its third iteration, and it's really different from when the game first started. And I'm gonna move this way. I want to see if this actually ends here. And so
construction
hyperlanes work just
complete.
like they do now, and then you had warp, which would allow you to travel. Like, you didn't need the hyperlanes to travel, but traveling between planets was slower. And I'm pretty sure they had kind of left that in there as for like a discovery, and you could switch over, I think, but they stopped doing it where that's something you pick for the beginning. Another colonizable planet? I mean, it's probably going to be red, but, like, wow, this is fairly dense. It's kind of nice. Let's go ahead. A tropical and savannah. Oh, cool! And I also got a primitive system. It's been a very long time since I had one of those in the game. I mean, I end up with them in games, but it's just because I've conquered other people who already had them. It's kind of nice to have one in the beginning. Wait, late Middle Ages.
System survey complete.
Yeah, researching on it. But, and then the gateways were like gateways, where you had to build a gate. Like, the only way your species could travel was you had to build a gateway. And I want to say that those gateways, however, worked, I believe, sort of like, if you ever played, like, Freelancer, or, oh, I guess like Mass Effect, where they would accelerate, like, I don't think you had to have them in both systems for it to work. And you could only place them on the edge of systems, so, like, you had this, like, the whole difference was travel time. Like, gateways, I think, were almost instantaneous. And they were almost instantaneous, but you had to put them on the edge of your system, and you had to have the gateway. That was the whole downside. You had to have the gateway. Obviously, warp was slower than both of those methods, but you could start warp from within the system, and you could travel. You didn't need to, so you could travel from system to system. So like I could go straight from Kadesh to this system, the Romacus system, directly. I could just skip the hyperlane, but it was slower. Like, so it was balanced. Then you also had to pick your starting weapons, which I always thought was kind of weird. Because, so you had to pick that you started with missile tech, kinetic tech, or energy tech. So you either started with lasers, railguns, or, you know, missiles. And I thought that was actually really cool, and it kind of made sense. It also didn't make sense.
Construction
because, like,
complete.
I feel everyone would start with missiles. Because that's like space combat, how it'd be, and I think it's kind of weird that you start with everything. Which is the bigger, the tropical world is. Oh well, I'll set up both of them. And this will probably be maybe an agricultural planet. Wait, why is this so low? Oh.
System survey complete.
Non-adaptive. Which is weird because they're going to the same environment.
Situation log updated.
Probably should name that something actual. But you know, like, it was interesting. Oh, it's the new update. The whole thing with districts? Yeah, that is the new update. This is something completely new, and I kind of like this system. It kind of makes a little more sense, sort of. And so what happens is I build a district, and a district has so many jobs. That's another new thing. So you have to provide your planet with jobs. You have to provide them with housing. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily new, but like. So you have to build a district.
Construction
so
complete.
Each planet only has so many slots, and I'm sure as you remember from the beginning, it always was you had that tiny little map that had so many slots, and then you had to build buildings and slots, and they did stuff. Well, now you still have the buildings, which still give you things, but then you also have the districts, which provide you with most of your housing and most of your jobs, which. And like as your population increases, so now you have way more pops. Because I mean, if you remember, like your slots and your population were directly connected, and so if this world only has its planet size 16, you could only fit 16 people on here and 16 things for those people to do. Well, now you can keep fitting people, and it's potentially unlimitless, except for, I mean, there is a limit, and eventually, like, you max out, because, again, you can only fit so many districts. So this is how many districts I can fit on the planet. As I tap my screen as if I'm pointing to you. This is how many districts you can fit on the planet, and so city district, and there's ways to increase the amount of population. Like, you do have residences that you fit on there. And those give population, and then there's also tech and traditions, like city districts provide an extra job, which means they go from providing one job to two jobs, and then city districts and housing buildings, or city districts produce one district housing, and I'm pretty sure there is one that increases, yeah, capital buildings and housing buildings provide +1 housing each. So you can get more housing out and fit more people. But then the problem comes jobs, and then you end up with these people who are like, hey man, can we have some jobs? And you end up with all these, like, they're not homeless, but they're jobless. And that just creates a problem. So you either have to go through, which I do have a mod now. There's a mod for it, which if we'll look here in my policies, for auto-pop migration, because it's just annoying. We're like, now I have to stop what I'm doing because I have to move these 3 pops around, because for some reason they won't do it automatically. Which I think how migration is handled is differently, because population spawning is also different, which here's a population thing which tells me which jobs are now in tiers. You have 3 different tiers. You have workers, specialists, and rulers. And which this is because of my priest thing that I took. My civic, my exalted priesthood. That's why I have... Normally there'd be 2 administrators, but I also have a high priest, which in a lot of ways is sort of better, like more unity and also some society research, but less amenities, which are these things which make your people happy. But so here's my population growing, and then same thing with robots and how they work. But how migration actually works, I'm not entirely sure. And I think you still can have migration, but to really get people to migrate, you have to keep settling colonies, and they'll leave for the colonies, which is just, it's infuriating. And so that's why I have that mod. That's the standard now. It's not part of the latest DLC. Oh, but I like the music. I can turn that. Really? It's... Actually, you know what? Right, reset. I don't know why I went back. I'll just turn the master volume down. There we go. No, the DLC adds mega corporations, and it also adds, which I can't. Wait, can I show you? Yeah, it adds some new ascension perks. Let's see here. There's new galactic wonders, which is the Mega Art, the Interstellar Assembly, and then there's the Matter Decompressor, which is the Matter Decompressor. I think you just hook it up to a planet, and it just makes minerals for you or something. I think. I don't know. I've never built one. There's the Xenocompatibility, which now your species, you can create cross-species, but you have to be xenophile. You have to have the gene tag, which, I mean, I haven't tried this yet. There's a couple of videos on YouTube of people doing that. It's a challenge. And there's also the arcology. And arcology is the idea of creating an ecumenopolis, which is a city planet. So think Coruscant from Star Wars. It's just one big, almost giant city that encompasses the whole planet. And I kind of want to do that. But just because I think it'd be really cool, just to see how that works. But those are pretty much, I think, the things that got added. And of course, you also have the mega corporations, which are the whole idea behind a mega corporation is so if you just want to build, like, they're very good at building tall if you want. I mean, they still work like a normal thing. Like, you still go out and you colonize planets, but the whole idea behind a mega corporation is now there's this tab right here. And so once you create which now you can trade between worlds, like, because that was one of the big things about the new update is this idea of trade, where you build a trade post, and trade posts just don't generate energy credits anymore. They now actually generate trade, and each planet has a trade value, which you can see down here. This is the trade value. Which that is what generates, depending upon, again, your policy, because you can have a trade policy. So I can have my trade generate just wealth, just energy credits, or energy credits and consumer goods, which again is another thing that was added to this update in a way. Or, no, I don't want to do that. Or where they can also generate unity, which is probably something you want to do if you're doing. So they're really good at generating lots and lots of, because they also have high trade value. They start out with high trade value, the mega corporations. So they're a great way to generate energy credits so you can spend your time on other things. You probably won't need a generator world. which is another new fun. So if I build enough of something on these planets, it actually will change. This is where the planet can be specialized. So you can have like city worlds and mining worlds and generator worlds and agricultural worlds, and then also forge worlds where you make lots of alloys, which you need for building ships. I think alloys were just a strategic resource originally, if I'm thinking back correctly, and now they're something you should produce. Consumer goods, which are used to generate amenities and other things, like research. Like research needs consumer goods to create research. And same thing here, like consumer goods. So they now have these special resources that you have to produce. If you build lots of these on your planet, you create a manufacturing world, and then also you now have buildings that can create strategic resources too. You can artificially make crystals and the gas and moats and all that other stuff. All the strategic resources. I'm not sure if living metal, throw, and dark matter can be manufactured. I have yet to figure out how to make nanites. I've had technology for nanites, and then I never got the nanite technology, which could totally be because I was playing another spiritual thing, and nanites might be something that's off-limit to spiritualists, because I think that might be you have to go around the robot tech to get to nanites, which would make a lot of sense now that I'm saying it out loud. Oh, so they come under one resource now. Oh, are you talking about the specialty stuff? No, but they do keep them all under one tab, if that's what you're asking. Like, I can look at them all here in what I'm generating. But you need those to, of course, upgrade. Like, these buildings all have tiers, and to upgrade them to the next tier, you do need specialty resources. But so the mega corporations, back to them, their big thing is they can create branch offices, which even though if you're building tall, which is mean you have low planet, like I only have a small, which is basically saying you're building small, but pretty dense. They're very dense empires, I would say. You can then go, and once you create a commerce treaty, which basically allows you to exchange trade value between, is that you can then build buildings on their worlds, which then provide them with extra jobs and provide you with resources, either just straight up giving you, which again is why they're so good at creating energy credits, is because, I mean, they get a portion of, depending on the trade value of the world. So like right here, if someone opened a branch office, they would be able to make 5 energy credits off that branch office. But then they can build other buildings. There'll be buildings based upon my population. I think it's every 25, so 25, 50, 75, and 100. They can build a new building on my planet that will, of course, give my people jobs and generate resources for them. So, and of course, these jobs will also have benefits for my planet, like additional amenities and other stuff. But of course, and then they will, to energy for the mega corporation, it's a way for them to get extra alloys, way for them to get extra research, ways for them to get like all kinds of other stuff. Oh, I just discovered volatile motes. Oh, which, by the way, I got a new building. So let's see here. What should I put on here? I should probably go for a bunch of jobs. Just build a commercial zone, which will provide me with lots and lots of jobs. And I want this one. Even though in reality I probably should have I should probably build a second alloy foundry to increase my alloys so that I can actually build up my fleet. Oh well. Let's speed things up a tiny bit. Is that a...
Construction complete.
Why is this ocean world? Oh, wait a minute.
System
I
survey
didn't know this was
complete.
high gravity. Oh well. That's crazy, man. Another ocean world? How am I this lucky?
Construction complete.
I'm gonna look at those settings.
We are spreading our faith to a new world.
Okay. Well, mostly my idea behind this playthrough is...
Anomaly found. Construction complete.
My idea for this playthrough is mostly just to have fun. I mean, I'm trying to think. Is that actually seeing the
Anomaly
field?
found.
I'm not entirely sure what all I want to do. If I'm just gonna go, I mean, obviously to win.
Anomaly found.
And I'm thinking I might.
Construction complete.
I guess it depends on who all's
System
around me.
survey complete.
If I'm just gonna go. On a conquering spree and just conquer everybody. Because I mean, I am a militant. Spread my faith to everybody. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I did, though, want to talk about some ideas that I had, though. Because another thing I would like to see in this game, and so, back to what I was talking about. So, in the very beginning, not only did you have to pick those things, but you also had to pick your government. And so you could only pick the basic type of government, which now are 3 types of government. You basically picked, like, a democracy. I'm trying to remember how it went. Like, I think, based upon your civics, you could pick, like, being a republic, or being a military junta, or that kind of stuff, which now, like, is now just describing what you've picked. That actually used to have to pick that. And that actually had bonuses. And then, so as you went along and researched new tech, you then had to... And I think part of the reason why they got rid of this was because of how difficult this... Well, it really wasn't difficult, it was kind of hidden. And I would notice as I was playing that all these people had all these weird governments. The AI is like, are the AI only allowed to have these governments? And it's like, no, those are advanced governments.
Construction
Them.
complete.
Once you unlock them, it's like, well, how do you get to these advanced governments? Well, it turned out, which now you have a reform government button, you had to actually click on the button that was your government. And there, instead of reformed government, it would actually say, like you're a democracy, or, well, actually, I'm a, Oh, shoot. I'm trying to think here. Does it actually tell me what my... It doesn't. It would just be a button that would say, like, whatever your government was, you would click that, and then a screen would pop up, and you would be able to pick a new one. I want to be this government now. And... I guess that, like, the fact that... That's part of the reason I think when they stopped doing that was because a lot of people were having trouble understanding this concept or something. Because, I mean, I had to look it up. Because I was like, where am I supposed to click for this? Like, it just didn't occur to me I had to click on my government to select a new government. And I kind of missed the idea of... Let's see here. I kind of missed the idea of having a government and actually being able to modify your government and actually change what your government is. Like, instead of where you just have this leader who represents everything, like, I kind of wish, like, and maybe I want to have, so there's, like, pick what my branches look like, and actually have them maybe interact or something
System
like that.
survey complete.
You know? Like, if I'm a democracy, why can't I pick what type of legislature I have? And then that's something I have to worry about. Instead of just having to worry about political parties. like actually worry about elections and seats in them, because I mean, they have that mechanic.
His spirits have
in their
granted
other
us
game.
new
That's something
wisdom.
you have to worry about in like Victoria, and it's something you also have to worry about in. I'm gonna go for this early. And I'm trying to think if you're for Stellaris, you have to worry about that sort of stuff with your government, and I think if you switch over to those governments, you do. But like actually having a political party and actually getting a political party elected, and like, why can't I be a constitutional monarchy where I have a king or queen? But you can't really do that. Where you have, I mean, I think if you pick dictatorship, where it's a like. Actually, no, then you're, like, monarchs elected. Like, no, you can't have elected monarchs. You can't say, well, I would like my head of state to be this nobility, and then also, I mean, I'm a democracy, or I'm an oligarchy, but... here we have these rulers, or, you know... You can't really do that in this.
Construction
and it kind of
complete.
makes, like, there's not a whole lot of politics in here. And I kind of wish, other than, like, you have these political factions, and then they want you to change some of your policies, and doing things will appease them and give you, like, influence bonuses, but... it's not that... Let's see what I'm going to do with this plan. Just probably make this... Ooh, I can make this my research world. Because this is also could be an agriculture. I might make this a mining world. This is my agricultural world. And this one I can just want to make a research world or a refinery world. I think this is where I do all my refinery. And actually, let's go with Cocoa. I like that. I need to remember to hit the hit that button so I get cool planet names instead of some of this lame stuff. But I actually want to be able to modify and change and interact with my government instead of it just being this one person and some decisions.
Situation log updated.
They have these other games, so I know they know how to do it. And same thing with federations. I don't like how federations are in this game, where it's like, well, where they're just like super alliances, or an actual alliance, I should say, where they, let's see what these planets are. Another ocean world.
Construction complete.
The Tundra world I might consecrate. I might go ahead and take the consecration ascension perk. Just consecrate that. But, in a way, I think it's just, they sort of took their Holy Roman Empire mechanic and are just reusing it as a federation, except for where it rotates in the federation, which, I mean, makes sense, and you can set things up that way, which is also, I think, like, how you can have work your government. Where you have, like, let's say you want to do a start where you have two different species on your planet, like two equal species, and they form a unified government, or just twin factions of any kind, or multiple factions, because there are real-world examples of that. There's a lot of places where you have where you have countries that have had civil wars, and they go to finally solve their differences, and the new government will exist of like half
Anomaly
of one
found.
party and half the other party, and they get equal representation, and like Africa and in the Middle East, yeah, and you can't do that here. So the more spaces in a certain district is where you can benefit more from the planet. So, yeah, so, like, this world, when I settle it, like, there's a lot of agriculture, and I could easily make this an agricultural world. which means if the majority of the people are working as farmers, you actually get a bonus. It becomes an agricultural world, and there's a bonus to
Situation log
I'll say that
updated.
later. And like I don't remember what city worlds do, where you, like most of the stuff is cities. But obviously, if you build lots of research labs, it becomes a tech world, I think. But you can have your worlds specialize. And
Construction
for this one, I'll
complete.
probably make a mining world because that's something you kind of want to have. Because that's how I ruined one of my games. Well, it wasn't necessarily my fault. I just didn't have any candidates. Like a lot of my planets I got were just minerally poor, and that really kind of screwed me over. And like normally I don't have to worry about it because this, like right here, where you can get these systems. You can get these systems that just have high amounts of minerals, and that's usually enough. Like you don't have to have a mining world and be just fine. But as when you start like specializing planets, eventually a lot of stuff can start eating up minerals. Normally you don't have to worry about that, but then once you like, oh hey, I'm gonna have tons of alloys, which I need to check my policies here. And okay, good. I like to be a mixed economy, so I can either pick where I can produce more consumer goods but less alloys, or more alloys.
Special project complete.
I prefer to just do a mixed economy because why mess with that? Unless I end up with just tons of something. But so the 4 districts. Oh, okay.
Construction
So
complete.
basically, the 4 districts just follow your. So the city district has the most housing. Only provides one job though, and they're clerk jobs. And clerk jobs are nice. They're cheap, easy jobs. They give you trade value and amenities, which again, amenities make your people happy, and trade value gives you more trade, and that's always good. But you kind of want to have to balance things out. And then these districts are your natural resource districts. You have a generator district, which creates energy credits. They give 2, and all of these give 2 housing, 2 jobs. So they give you enough housing for both the jobs they create. So you have a generator district, the mining district, and the agricultural district. So food, minerals, energy credits. And certain technology boosts these, and so on and so forth, and all that good stuff. Yeah, so wait, hold on, let me see. Yeah, so they either give you pop or now science. Hold on. Pop growth. I went ahead and actually I didn't do anything. I should have made them because now they're turtles. They should have been quick. Well, actually, I don't know if turtles are quick breeders because while they do lay a lot of eggs, they and again, just because they're turtle-like doesn't mean that they're actually turtles. Another thing a lot of people don't understand about science fiction. And just because something looks like something doesn't mean that it's actually going to behave in that manner. And I think that's something I talked about, like, because you have the idea of convergent evolution. So, like, you look at a shark, and you look at a dolphin. Like, sharks and dolphins are very similar creatures. They both have fins and stuff for swimming because they both swim.
The spirits have
So
granted us
they
new wisdom.
evolved that way. But, oh, here we go. They're not the same at all because dolphins are mammals and sharks are fish. And they're just 2 completely different animals, and they're not related to each other. Just because they look like they're related doesn't mean they're related. And the same thing that I think we had a discussion about that because in Star Trek there's a group of cat people, caissons, and they don't really come up much. There was a couple in some of the early movies, and I think that they came back in like the latest Star Trek, J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. Even though I don't know if we can call it a J.J. Abrams one because I don't think he directed it.
We are spreading our faith to a new world.
And they were more in the cartoon, which, yes, there was a cartoon. After the original series ended, Gene Roddenberry talked them into having a cartoon, and it, like, I think went for maybe, like, a season or two. And there was occasion, the communications officer. She was actually subordinate to Uhura, and
Construction
like,
complete.
people. And they're also in the MMO, because it's the Star Trek MMO, and wait, oh, the turtles. They but just because they're cat people doesn't mean they evolved from cats. Like, they could have been on a mountainous world where cat-like traits would have been useful. So if you think about the snow leopard, which lives in the mountains, like, those traits are very good for, and also mountain lions, you know, cougars and such like that. Like, cat traits do well in jungles and mountains. So a jungle mountain world would be a great place to have people evolve sort of like cats.
Anomaly found.
For now. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to upgrade this star base so I can snag this trade here and this trade and send it back. So that's another thing I have to explain how trade works. So now you have these trade routes, and so you have 2 stats associated with trade. Well, 3, I guess technically 4. So you have the actual trade stat, which planets generate trade through clerks, which generate trade value, and some other stuff. It's increased by other things, and so planets generate trade, and that trade has to be moved back to your capital planet and back and forth to actually count. And then some systems naturally just have trade value in them. So when you build a station, let's look at this one. So you have a trade hub, which now, instead of just generating energy credits, now
The faithful have claimed a new world.
collects this trade. And right here it says, so the first trade stat you have to worry about is your collection range. And that means it'll collect trade from one system over. So this actually will collect from here and send it back. So if I build one here, it'll collect this and collect that, and also will collect, which is also already being collected. Now you also have to worry about protection.
The spirits have granted us
and
new
protection
wisdom.
range. And so that is just through... See, right here is we talk about the stuff where energy credits from technician jobs, or jobs created by the generator districts and associated buildings. They create technicians, and technicians generate energy credits. So by getting this tech, they generate more energy credits from those jobs. But anyway, so the things that generate trade protection, which protects your trade routes, are the weapon modules for stations, and also hangars. And hangars are the best.
System
so hangars
survey
become
complete.
More useful because they generate the most protection. And each module you add onto increases the range. So once I upgrade this, if I were to build 2 trade ports onto this starport, it would have 2 range. So this system and then also this system. But I would also need, which another thing I probably should just, to be honest, upgraded this one instead, but it doesn't really matter. But yes, back to what I was saying. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. So, like, a species will evolve traits that are beneficial to it. Which is why we can talk about how I think it would be very difficult for a
System survey complete.
cold-blooded species to evolve to, like, our level. So the fact that I, right now, am a reptilian species, this would probably have to be a warm-blooded reptile, which I'm not sure if those were actually a thing, and I think if you become warm-blooded, still qualify it as a reptile. And like, and just because they have reptilian traits doesn't necessarily mean that they evolved from a reptile. And that also doesn't mean that, like, I was talking about how would they be rapid breeders because turtles lay eggs, which is how I got started on this whole tangent. Doesn't mean that they are even egg-laying species, because especially if they
Construction
evolved at this
complete.
point where they're going into space, chances are they're probably mammalian. To be honest, they probably have live births, unless for some reason they just, like, it's just more beneficial to do the whole egg thing. Trade hub and see. Well, yep, I definitely need more alloys. I'm gonna need to build a new alloy producer. Let's see here, and just for the fun of it, it's the battery. And I will send this one this way, since this will be able to cover all of that. Let's see here. Oh! Administration capacity. So, they have actually changed how the administration capacity works. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with, so, I'm sure you remember administration capacity used to be how many planets you could have direct control over. Which really wasn't that big of a deal. Really. I didn't, because if you could get pretty decent at, like, the auto-managing thing, and there was pretty nice, like, pretty cool things you could do with auto-managed sectors. But the whole idea of how many core worlds you could have that would be part of your core systems that you had direct control over versus those that had to be auto-managed by an AI, which really wasn't, again, that big of a deal because you could still go in and change whatever, like, the auto-manager is doing. And also remember, alloys are just now, you take the minerals are turned into alloys, and then they're just now what you use to make ships and star bases and stuff for the star bases. I kind of like that. But anyway, so now administrative capacity is you have this stat called Empire Sprawl, which you get from building districts, taking control of systems, and also having colonies. And then you have administrative capacity is now how much you can effectively manage your sprawl. So when your sprawl gets higher than your administrative capacity, that then causes
Anomaly found.
where debuffs, like research costs go up, building things costs go up, like all these other costs go up because you have a bigger empire. And so the whole idea is eventually you're going to have to do that. So if you're going to be building big, which the whole idea now, if you're building tall, is to keep this low. You don't want to outpace your administrative capacity as a tall empire, which is why you only colonize so many worlds and you only take so many worlds. And that's why
Construction complete.
the mega corporations are nice because they get bonus for being a mega corporation. They get plus 20 administrative capacity outright, but the whole idea behind that is to use that administrative capacity to, again, build your branch offices, because these also take administrative capacity. But they're cheaper, so that's the whole idea. So you build tall. I mean, you don't have to. you can build, you know, a wide, I guess, would be the opposite of tall, right? You can build a wide empire as a mega corporation. It's just, you're kind of defeating the purpose, I think, of being a mega corporation. Because I think mega corporations kind of play, so if you're familiar with civilization
Anomaly
games,
found.
it's kind of like building a culture empire, where you're trying to go for a culture victory, and if you're trying to go for a culture victory, it's best to just have a few cities. That's why when you're playing like Venice, the whole idea behind Venice is you can't actually build other cities. You only have Venice, and so you go for culture because it's super easy to stack that. And so right here,
System survey
tall
complete.
empire, you're going for high score for winning, and you know, also out-teching people. So a lot of people will build tall in the beginning, so you can quickly build up a whole bunch of techs, and then
Construction complete.
and then just destroy everybody because you have insane tech. I have played Endless Legends. That's another game that and also Endless Space. I've played them both. And Endless Space is a lot of fun. And that Endless Space is one of the reasons why I got into this game when this game was coming out. Because Endless Space was so fun, and this is of course a very similar. I mean, it's not. I mean, it is, but it's also not, because like Endless Space is just your typical 4X, and like while this is a 4X game, it's also a and I'm trying to think of who makes this. But I mean, it's the same people that make Crusader Kings and Europa Universalis and Victoria, and I'm trying to think of the World War II one is. But this is very much one of those games, just set in space, as like a 4X space thing. And yes, Endless Legends, and that's also a really cool. I really like that because that's a neat mechanic they have with their cities and how their cities work. And Civ 6 kind of took some of that and ran with it. And also their combat is really interesting. That's one of the things I really like about Iron Hearts. Yes, Endless Legends, the combat in that is super cool. What is this? You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. But, of course, this game doesn't have the politics all those games have. Which is one of the reasons why I really like playing, like Civ has no politics at all. It's very bland and boring, and that's one of the reasons why I really like EU, because one of my favorite games that I had in EU was I was playing Prussia. Well, I mean Brandenburg, and then I went and created Prussia. And as Brandenburg, I had gotten myself elected as the Holy Roman Emperor, which is a really nice thing to do, because then you have that free army, basically, that you get to have, which is wonderful. And then, but to become Prussia, you have to convert to Protestantism. And once you do that, all of the Catholic electors no longer like you anymore, and so I lost my seat as the Holy Roman Emperor. So then I went and I fought a war against all the electors to convert them. I converted them to my religion. And that's something you can't do in Civ. Like, you can't, I want to be able to do that. And you can't also do that a whole lot in here either. There's not a whole, and I feel like maybe they simplified some of it, but I feel like how wars
System survey
work
complete.
more like they do in their
Construction
other games.
complete.
And I just don't like that. I really want this system. wars end a little too easily. I should probably build a second construction. But I don't have the alloys to support building multiple space stations right now. I'm going to speed this up a little bit.
Anomaly found.
Is it still too low? Ooh, faction.
Anomaly found.
Change scientists. I think it's probably just actually recording software's settings. Go ahead and turn it down that way too. Oh, I've not played the X series. I just wish you had more government types. Like, I wish I could, like, oh, I want to be a federal government, or hey, I actually want to be like this feudal monarch. Like, you can pick feudalism, but then they kind of make it difficult to implement. I mean, it's not that difficult. You can create your own vassals, but like, I feel like if I'm picking feudalism, like, each colony itself should be its own independent, like, but not independent. You get what I'm saying? Or I think should be someone independent. That way, like, you can build a really, would let you build a really tall empire, since like you don't really have the one world, and another world you decide to directly control. But then since you're creating these fiefdoms,
Anomaly found.
and you're splitting yourself up. Which, and then there's a lot of things where it should, like, they should implement like a Holy Roman Empire type system, or like more customizable federations, or you can have what I would call then the fake federation, which I'm using air quotes here because it'd be fake versus what they do, where you have an actual federation. Because a lot of people don't understand, like, the United States is a federation, and so federations would actually work more like how the United States work, where we're saying, oh, okay, well, we're going to create a government that basically is over the relations between our two nations and provide for the defense and all that kind of stuff. Like, so that's what I gotta pick Galactic Ambition, and then I'm gonna go ahead. I usually like to take Technology Ascendancy first for that nice research boost. But, like I said, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take Consecrated Worlds. And then, no, not that one. This one, the Tundra World. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to Consecrate it. Get that Unity boost. Or something.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Why am I leveling? Well, they don't necessarily have to have, so, how am I leveling up my Unity so fast? Probably, let's see here. Because it's really fast at first. If you look here where, since I've adopted 2 different categories, that's really what increases my cost, and then of course also having 8 traditions. So right now, and I'm pretty sure if my Empire Sprawl gets out of control, that also bumps it up. So if you start building real big, and so it's kind of, which again, this is something straight out of Civ that they clearly, it's a nice thing, don't get me wrong, I like this. Even though I do like how the Civ 1 works now. I like how they've changed it. I really like Civ 6. I think it's probably been a nice breath of fresh air into that series. And I think once I get the new, I I was really excited for the new DLC, but at the same time, I wasn't excited for the price, even though, like, oh, finally, we're getting a lot of the stuff that we've been, like, really wanting. So I'm waiting for it to go on sale, and it probably will for the summer sale, and then once I get it, then I'll probably also stream some of that. Yeah, but back to, like, this is probably a decent sized amount of Unity, because spiritualist, well, I'm not a spiritualist, but again, remember that one of the first buildings I built was this doodad right here, this temple. And because I also have a high priest, I'm generating a lot of Unity. And then now that I've taken consecrate, now most blessed planet. Technology. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take this one. Boost up my research. Which now that I have these, I can blam. Which this also changes how off-world trading companies work, and now they produce additional trade value. So the more of these I stack, the more trade I'm gonna get out of this system. But again, like Federation, again, think like, again, Star Trek. So the Federation was like, you had Earth and a couple other planets, which, oh, I forgot to build, starter districts, which this is going to be my agricultural planet. But I'm going to go ahead and build a generator district too, because that's what these people need. Which reminds me I need to go ahead and I'll do the same thing over here. Oh, I need to colonize this planet. Ah, you guys will get used to it. Glummy. And you had Earth, and you had the Vulcans, and then I think Tellarian, I think is what you call them. They're the really tiny, ugly-looking people. And then also the Andorians. I played quite a bit of Star Trek Online, that's why I know that. We're the 4 founding species of the Federation. And so basically with the Federation, you have a federal government that is over in charge, and they run Starfleet, and they regulate all the trade and stuff that happens in between, and they kind of also do like police. You don't necessarily have to have an FBI, and I don't think you necessarily, there's probably a court system, so that's why a lot of people, that's why a lot of nationalists hate the EU, because the EU is very close to being a big stepping stone to becoming a European Federation. Ah, crap. Hurry up and increase in population. I could boost their growth rate. But here's another problem, is that their growth is slowed because they're emigrating. Newly found colonies. That is my phone. Okay, there was no one. So, yeah, so how migration works now, it only affects population growth, which I think is stupid. Like, populations should themselves, and I don't think you necessarily even need pops to, colonize anymore. Like, colony ships just go, which just blows my mind. And so that's one of the reasons why, like, if I want to move people around, I have to do this.
Complete.
This is how I move people. which this is just resettling, which allows me to, like, which I think is different than normal because, hold on, let's see here, because, let's see under my policies, robotic workers, oh, I have to outlaw this, because that makes people mad if I don't have that, and I want to be very religious. Refugees, I can have population controls allowed. Okay, so this allows me to say whether or not, so I can tell people to stop having babies. But when it comes to...
System survey complete.
Oh, here we go. Resettlement. So, free pops cannot be forcibly resettled between planets. Which, if the church tells you to move, you're gonna move. I'm gonna leave it at that. I mean, no, you use the colony ships now. But, yeah, it's just... So they don't, I don't think they take populations
complete.
anymore. Like my population, I think if I build a colony ship, it's not going to disappear from here. It's just the problem is the more planets I settle... Which actually, you know, it's almost done building the colony ship, so I can actually test this theory out. Unless it already used it in the construction, in which case I'm just... I don't know, I could be full of crap. But, it's just... Just do that. But the point is, I'm just kind of upset that I can't set up a federal government, which would make a lot of sense.
Construction
And I can't,
complete.
like, and federations don't make sense to me because, like, what they call a federation in this game is not really a federation. And it's just kind of ridiculous.
Anomaly found. Situation log updated. Construction complete. Construction complete. Special project complete.
I mean, at the same time, the system they've implemented does make sense, I guess, because my population would be growing slower if I have people leaving to go to the new worlds, and their populations would be growing faster than just having a whole population, which actually represents probably millions of people, just picking up and leaving at once. So, like, migration works completely differently than it does. But eventually, like, this settles, and the population just starts growing a lot.
We are spreading our faith to a new world.
I think it's annoying, because when you basically have a maxed world, it becomes more difficult to have jobs and stuff for everybody. And then you end up with these unemployed people that you have to move around. Or just let them sit there and create crime and other stuff, and it's just... Ugh.
The spirits have
Use
granted
up
us
your
new
resources.
wisdom.
Oh, now we should... Ship designer... Let's design some new stuff. I like having a missile boat. I like having a bunch of different ship designs. Actually do that.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Zum zum. This will be my missile boat. Save. And then... I don't think I have an interceptor. Yes, I don't have an interceptor. And so... Oh, I forgot I like having balanced designs. Prevents me from... What? Oh, man. And then... You know what? We're just gonna leave this one like that. Even though I still don't have the... Oh, that's always a good one to have. Just go straight for the power upgrade. I like to have balanced designs. I'd like my fleets to be, you know, somewhat balanced, so that they're not easily countered by the AI, and so I can just take one fleet and mash a bunch of buttons. Oh, I forgot I haven't built these. Which actually, I'm going to go ahead and sell. Oh, here's also the market, which I think there was already a market, but it's also slightly changed because of the stuff. And right now, it starts with an internal market because there's no galactic market because we haven't met anybody. Now that I've done that, I can go here, go my fleet manager, and I'm going to go ahead
Situation log updated.
and just reinforce this for right now. Ah, crap. Also, they with mega corporations, they added caravans, which eventually caravans will spawn, and they travel around the galaxy, offering some stuff. Sometimes it's technology, sometimes it's some weird thing that you can add onto stuff. It's kind of like the little enclaves, but they have ships and they move around, which is always interesting. Oh, yeah, the market. Yeah, so this is an internal market that's just inside.
Construction complete. The spirits have granted us new wisdom. Construction complete.
At the moment, Let's see here. Well, actually, hold on one second. Let's see. This will give me 2 additional. You know what? Go ahead. And adopt some supremacy. That gives me 2 additional star bases.
Special project complete. Construction complete. System survey complete.
Oh, yeah. What I'm playing right now is I also have a game of Anno 1800 going on that I kind of just need a break from Anno at the moment. I mean, it's a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it, but I just need a small break. And then, of course, so I play World of Tanks and other stuff. Though, and then people have asked me, oh, do you like that? Most of the asteroids have been chiseled with great precision into the likeness of a small Kadeshi temple or large shrine. Shrine to the Untold, the great destroyer deity of old Kadeshian faiths. The temple has been tumbling through the quiet space for as long as we were capable of spaceflight. Terrifying at worst. You will not suffer this heresy. I've decided that I think I'm going to pick all, if it comes up religious, I'm going to take it. Yeah, I'm starting to think that I might have actually pretty... If I can get these clusters right here.
Construction complete. Situation log updated.
I feel like I need to get a 3rd science. I probably should have just said screw it.
Construction complete.
Oh, pirates work differently now. Pirates are directly tied into trade. So you can see right here where there's piracy is generated, but because of my star bases and because they have those defenses, it suppresses them, and
The
then
faithful
there's
have
no
claimed
piracy
a new
effects, which
world.
means I get all of my
Special
trade.
project complete.
Now, if you're not careful,
Construction complete.
you can have Finish surveying the system.
Anomaly found. System survey complete.
Haha. Actually, you will start with one of these.
Construction complete.
Now, this... Which, by the way, since you only have so many districts, even though you can have a number of max districts, as you fill up with these districts, it takes away from the other ones. So the more agricultural districts I build, the less city districts I build, and vice versa. Which they also change how planetary
The
features...
spirits have granted
So,
us new
The
wisdom.
different planetary features change the number of districts that you can have. And also resources, like... So, you know how you have, like, crystal mines and stuff like that? And that's a planetary feature, because I think it always was sort of a planetary feature, but... But now it's, like... You don't have to specialize each planet. I'm just saying it's really beneficial to do that, because if you when I well, hold on. If I actually specialize this planet into a mining world, my miners will be more effective. And if I specialize this into an agricultural world, my farmers will be more effective. Which I'll show you what the base world looks like once I can get one of these colonies up there. But if you look at my capital,
System survey complete.
these are the bonuses this gets to be for being my capital, which you can also move your capital somehow. I've totally forgotten how you do that, because I never do it. Oh, you can change your visor in-game? Oh, didn't know that.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna grab this. Ooh.
The spirits have granted us new wisdom.
Oh, I think I was already... No, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Let's say New High Inquisitor. That's not...
Construction
oh yeah,
complete.
I have elections. Let us see! Ugh. No, I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend. Abstain. Which means I need a new governor. Which I'm going to build a new construction ship. How have I not run into anybody?
Construction complete.
I mean, this is wonderful.
Anomaly found.
And now I finally get my precursor. We have recovered artifacts from ancient alien civilization on Medgar 2 and learned that these artifacts connected this civilization with some sort of confederation. They consisted of many different alien races. They called themselves the First League. And appeared to coexist in relative peace some 2 million years ago.
Situation log updated.
I don't remember what these ones do because I think it's different for everyone. Here we go. Wait, which colony is this? Oh, oh yeah, this is going to be mine. Ah, crime! No. Oh well.
Construction complete.
Ooh. There was an across that had so many boxes, but you chose another planet to specialize in. Oh, yeah, because I mean,
Construction complete.
it would just make sense to make this one my agricultural one, just because that's the most that has. And
System survey
this is
complete.
a bigger planet, and while yeah, it has more, I don't need that and a. Oh, which I forgot to. I'm still gonna build one here. It would just having
The
a unless I
spirits have
find a
granted us
world that's
new
just way
wisdom.
better at mining,
Anomaly
but
found.
like having one agricultural world goes a long way.
Construction complete. Our ships have been improved. Anomaly found. System survey complete.
This would be a great era of expansion for the Kadeshi people.
Anomaly
and everything
found.
else. Forgot what I called myself there for a second.
Construction complete. Construction complete. Construction complete. System survey complete. Construction complete. The spirits have granted us new wisdom. Construction complete.
Okay, actually, I need to go do some things like eat. So, oh yeah, I did play Eve. Star Wars Galaxies, no, but I knew people who play Star Wars Galaxies, and that was something I would have been really, really, like, interested in. Oh, crap, that's awesome. Really want that system now. But, no, well, I probably, but I did play Eve for a while. And
Construction complete.
it just got a little bit too much for me, because, well, I was playing other things at the time too, but...
Anomaly found. Construction
Oh,
complete.
which also decisions...
System survey complete.
I don't know what makes, like, scaling up to its spiritual significance of the planet. I wonder what that actually means. I'll have to do some research. But, like I said, I'm gonna go eat. Plus, I've been streaming for over an hour. No problem.